What's up, everybody? Gridbot Guru here, and I am hoping that you all are still doing well, even with this massive sell-off that, well, not really massive, but this big pullback that we recently had. So what I'm going to end up doing today is I'm going to talk a little bit about what I feel like, what I see, what I am thinking, and hopefully you guys can benefit from my talking, my ideas, my thoughts, and hopefully you guys can snag some coins to end up trading. Okay. So without going much further, I do want to say that I am currently trading grid bots. Okay, that's going to be my go-to. I have two that I am going to follow. Okay, now you see that I have a list up here. It says KuCoin open position. These positions are not open. They are ones that I want to eventually open. I am just not ready to open them quite yet. I still want to have everything stabilized. So you can end up, I am going to do grid bots, as I said. You can either do this on KuCoin or you can do Pinex. Either way, they're going to basically act very similar with the way that they are trading. So without going much further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of show you what I see. All right. The first thing that I see is I'm going to talk a little bit about Ethereum. ETH USDT. We had a continuation of starting way back here December 1st around the last day of November 2021. You're going to notice that I am on the daily charts. So around December, we had a really good little spike, 47,000 or not 1,000, 4,700. From that point, we had this kind of a down trend. We ended up bottoming out currently right now at about 2,179. That's going to be the current bottom. Now, why am I talking a little bit about those? I'm talking a little bit about those because we have this nice little trend where our candles are coming up and kind of hitting at this downward trend line. Now, as I have said before, trend lines are going to be very much so in the eye of the beholder. So you're going to end up noticing something. You're going to end up being like, ooh, I like that. And then you can end up making a trend line. It doesn't necessarily matter what your trend line looks like. I can make that trend line. I could come over here. I can make this one where we still have all this way to go up. I chose, let me get rid of that one. I chose the one I did because that is what it seemed like we were kind of following. We touched, came down, touched, came down, touched, came down. And then what we ended up doing is we broke through around the very beginning of February. Now, what does that mean? That means that we have gone to the upside of this trend line. According to support and resistance, okay, that means that that trend line is now a support line. So it should come down. If we were to drop all the way, it should stay on top of this line until it breaks down through, okay? Now, here's the other side of it. We had a bottom, and then we started to come up, okay? We have a bottom, we came up, and then we have broke down through. Now, I'm watching this second line, the second purple line, the uptrend line. I'm watching that one, and I'm wanting to see what will happen moving forward from this point on, moving forward. So I am watching this area right here, this 27 to 26 area. If we were to go back, we're going to see that this area, okay, you're going to notice that there was a little downtrend here. It hit and then it started to rise again. My personal thoughts are we're going to make it through that area. Okay, I know some people don't want to necessarily hear it. We're going to go through this area. We also have a support and resistance area over here. So that's going to give me this line. I'll put a horizontal line there for you guys so you guys can kind of see where I'm at. So we end up having these areas right here, this area right here. Both of those areas are going to create a zone, which is where I get this zone, the zone from about 27.5 to about 26.4. So that's going to be the zone. That's my first zone that I am watching. I'm going to be watching that zone. The second zone that I'm watching is the one down at the bottom. So this zone, this zone of about 24 to, about 23, 24 to 23, that's going to be my second zone that I'm watching. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these areas. And I'm going to make my other area. So I saw that zone because of this area. And I saw that zone because of this area. Now, with that being said, my gut is we potentially could go even farther down. So if we end up zooming out even more, potentially we potentially could look at an area of 17, 1800, 2000 area. One of my buddies and I were talking about maybe potentially 15. He is big on fib lines, and he was saying, I think 50, if it dumps really hard, I think 15 would be really an easy target to get to. Now, why am I saying all this? I'm not trying to make it gloom and doom. However, when you end up starting to look at how these are reacting and some of the other things that are going on in the world currently, the Russia-Ukraine situation, other countries coming into this situation, I'm looking at, we have a MACD. It looks bearish to me. It looks like it has potential to cross over and start a bearish cycle. Again, this is on the daily. Okay, I got RSI down here at the bottom, and it's crossed over. It's looking bearish as well. My personal thoughts are I'm going to wait until we get pretty low on the RSI. I'm going to wait for everything to stabilize. We could stabilize at our first area of support, which I have around 27, 26 area. I feel more passionate, I guess, around the 24 to 23 area. Those are both going to be big areas for ETH. Again, I'm watching the daily to see what happens. Okay. Now, along with that, I also want to look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's doing some of the same stuff. Okay. You can end up seeing it's very similar. It is having some of the same reactions. The first stop that I have is this 46,000 area. That was going to be the area that I felt like would be a selling area. Okay. And evidently we got really close to it and then we have dropped. We are now in the 40,000 area. I want to make sure that we see what happens. Okay. Again, this is on the daily. My gut instinct, okay, looking at the MACD, looking at how my RSI is crossing over, my gut instinct is we are going to end up dropping back down to the next area. My next area, if I am charting this, okay, on the daily, I'm coming over here. I'm seeing we're here. My next area is probably going to be around mid 30s. So 35 to 36. Those are going to be the areas that I'm looking at starting a grid. Okay, as long as everything else lines up correctly in what I deem would be a good trade, that is what is going to happen. Okay, so those are going to be the areas I'm watching currently. Right now, I do feel like we are in an area that is going to end up continuing to break down. If we look at 240 on both of them, we're starting to break down. However, the RSI is looking a little bit close to being oversold, so that's for Bitcoin. For ETH, it still looks like, to me, it's got a ways to go down. So those are going to be things that I am watching. Okay, again, I'm going to be using Pinex and KuCoin to start the trades, the grid bots, and really, I'm going to look at heavily going in on KuCoin's shorts. And what I'm going to potentially do is start a grid bot and reverse it. So not a reverse grid. I'm going to go short on a grid bot with ETH and Bitcoin because I do feel like we still have quite a bit of downward momentum. These are two things that I am going to do. I am going to watch them quite closely because, as you know, crypto can end up changing at any moment, but those are what I am planning on doing. Again, I hope this has helped you out, kind of give you an idea. If you are sitting there and you are thinking, oh no, what have I done? Rest assured, okay, it will be a loss if you sell. So if you ended up at 46,000, you bought your first Bitcoin and now it's down to 40,000. You've lost $6,000 on that Bitcoin. It will be all right. Okay, I know right now it's probably seeming like, oh no, right now we're down 7% just today on Bitcoin, almost 8% on both of them for Bitcoin and ETH. It's going to be all right. Okay, so what I am hoping you guys all end up doing is realizing that if you have the money and the funds to trade crypto, you also have the funds to hold it. Okay, I don't want, like I always end up saying, I don't want you guys trading funds that you may have for rent, or you need to pay a utility bill, or you need to pay your car note. Don't trade with those funds. You trade with funds that you know you can put into something and hold for an extended period of time. If you are going to need them tomorrow or next month, do not trade with those funds. All right. All right, everybody. I hope this helps you out a little bit. I hope you all have a great week. I want you guys all to be safe out there, and I want you guys to stay green. I'll see you next time.